is 6:30 a.m. in the morning on a Saturday morning, December 26th, the day after Christmas. For those of you who are listening to this, of course, Merry Christmas. I did not think I would be making this video. And, well, I know I do say that a lot, but really, seriously, I did not think I was going to be making this morning. But as you know, anytime anything happens to me, I make a video right after. I get on my computer right after it happens and I record it for you. So first, last night I was drinking. It was Christmas night. I was together with some friends and I was having alcohol, and that is usually for me basically means I'm done, I'm grounded. Somebody asked me recently what grounded means. Grounded means that I'm not going anywhere. I'm not astral projecting. I'm not doing anything with the beyond body. I'm going to sleep just like everybody else does in the evening, and maybe I'll have dreams, but most of the time I don't end up experiencing anything. And that usually carries on into the next day. At least that's what I thought. But my guess is that at about 5:30 a.m. this morning, most of the alcohol must have been out of my system, if not all of it, because I know that in the state that I was last night, there would be no way I'd be going anywhere. But this morning, I went to the restroom and I went back into bed. I want to notate something here again. This is something I've talked about with the background that I use, the sounds and stuff like that. For those of you who have been listening to this channel for a while, you know that I prefer storm sounds. But the storm sounds, I think it was only a few hours that it had been on. And at one point, I remember I was lying down. I think it ended. However, I decided not to, because normally I might go to perhaps another video or start it over again. I decided not to do that. And I just laid there and I was just like, all right, I'm just going to relax, whatever. I wasn't really, again, thinking that I was even going to be able to do anything. And I don't think I had any images in the back of my mind. I think this just kind of came on really suddenly. At one point, I felt it. I felt that sense that it was going to happen. I felt that I had reached that in-between state, that sweet spot that I talked with you about, the point where you can raise your vibrational frequency. That point. I felt it. And it was, again, I was literally startled. I was like, wait a minute, is this happening now? This is happening now. Wow. I was thinking, wow, I thought I might be hungover this morning. I don't feel hungover at all at this point as I'm talking to you right now. I don't feel that way at all. But so then I felt myself go over my bed, remember. And again, for those of you who know about the beyond body, you know that what I feel is not a sense that I'm separating from my body like you would do when you astral project. I don't feel that separation. I feel my entire body move either toward one angle or another. I might turn toward the right, turn toward the left. I might turn upward. I might do all of these things in combination, in different combinations, as if it were some sort of navigational system. And that's something that I have theorized for a while now, that what I'm doing is some sort of navigational system where I can move into different realities, different places, parallel universes, that sort of thing. But again, I emphasize to you that my entire body moves. I don't separate. I'm not separating from my body, which is why I call it the beyond body, because it's a completely different feeling. So I felt myself fall off the left side of my bed. Again, no matter how many times this happens, guys, I always think I'm going to hit the floor. And I'm thinking, when I impact the floor, I'm wondering how it's going to be, because it's going to hurt. My leg, and I'm thinking, I usually will think for a moment about my leg, like, man, how is this going to feel when I hit the floor? But this time, when I went over the left side of my bed, I literally felt as if I slowed down, as if I began to move down in slow motion. It was really weird. I don't think I've ever really necessarily felt that before. As if time itself had slowed down and I was moving down slower. So at first, when I came off the bed, it was like I'm falling, and then suddenly I slowed down and I was moving slower, and then slowly I stopped. And then I started feeling that motion. I started feeling as if I was being propelled forward. I opened my eyes during transport. That happens rarely. It does happen. I do open my eyes sometimes, because I always talk about the fact that there is darkness, and then suddenly that darkness lifts. But no, I opened my third eye and I could feel it. And for those of you who I may have responded to in the past, you've asked what it feels like to open your third eye, or how do you activate your third eye? To me, it literally feels as if there are eyelids inside of my eyelids, and I open them up. And I'm always, again, also concerned that I'm going to open up my eyes in the 3D world and I'm going to end whatever is happening. But this time, I definitely opened up my third eye. I could feel it. The moment I opened up my third eye, I could see above me a ceiling. And the ceiling, at least from my perception, had fluorescent lights. I was in some sort of hallway, but I was moving, gliding through this hallway. That's what it felt like. But this was the interesting thing, guys. Not that I saw fluorescent lights. I mean, it looked like a hallway, maybe in an office or something like that, or whatever. The interesting thing was, over those fluorescent lights and all over the walls, there were these colors. They were like rainbow. That's what I thought of. The first thing I thought of are the colors of a rainbow. It was beautiful. It was astonishing. It was amazing. And I was moving and I was looking at this and I was like, wow. And at first I was moving slowly, and then I started speeding up, and I felt that exhilaration, that sense that I'm on a roller coaster. Because you know that feeling, guys, when you're on a roller coaster and at the first punch, when you go off, sometimes you go off really fast, right? Or if you're going downhill, you go really fast and you feel your stomach. You feel that sense that your stomach is jumping up through your throat. That's what I felt. I was like, wow, I'm really going really fast. And at one point, I remember the colors, the lights were all a blur. I was moving that quickly. Suddenly, and I mean suddenly, guys, as I was moving, and I'd been moving for a while, I stopped. It was as if someone hit the brakes really, really suddenly. And I was like, whoa. And I was stood up. I remember that. All of the beings, or whoever it was that was moving me, which I'm imagining I was moving myself on some level, I couldn't see anyone around me. I was just in motion. And where I ended up, first thing I could see was a glass partition. And through this glass partition, I could see either silhouettes or forms through this glass partition. I remember that. That was the first thing. So I moved around. There was an opening. It was like a room. And I moved in. And I believe, guys, I was in a hospital room. And the reason that I think I was in the hospital room was because I believe there were monitors. There was a hospital bed. There was a child in that bed. And there were two other people, and they were young. They couldn't have been more than 8 or 9 years old. And they seemed to be with this kid, and they were hanging out with this kid. That's the only sense that I could get at that moment, was that that was happening. And for some reason, when I entered this room, I smiled and I said, "How can I assist you?" Now, I don't know how I knew to say that. I have no idea how I knew to say, "How can I help you?" I guess perhaps the fact that I was in a hospital room and this kid who looked sick. Let me go through, because I met 3 people, but I do remember one name. 2 of these kids. Number one, all of them were African American kids. And again, they were about maybe 8 or 9 years old. I shook hands with 2 of them. One of them told me his name, and I don't remember that person's name. But when I met the person or the being on the bed, on the hospital bed, I remember there may have been a tube running up his nose, but he was still awake, aware, and everything. And I shook his hand, and I remember I asked him twice. His name was Eric. Yeah, I mean, Eric, that's a name we have here, so nothing unique or crazy or, exotic about the name Eric. I mean, no offense to anyone out there whose name is Eric, but it's not a very strange sounding name, Eric. And that's the name that I took back with me this morning, Eric. And I do remember, there were a few things I remember as I was in this hospital room. I remember that I sat down on the bed and of the child, and I remember I felt how springy the bed was and how solid it was. I remember that there was a telephone that was right near his bed. It looked like a telephone out of the 1970s. It was very old, but there was a contrast between that and there was a big, huge flat screen TV also in the room, which I found to be kind of strange. Then one of the other kids came up and started talking to me. And I remember I was wearing a pair of beige shorts. I remember that. They were maybe the ones that have the side pockets and stuff, because this other kid, this third kid, not Eric, not the one in the hospital bed, but another kid, reached into my pocket and took out a phone. Now, this phone looked completely different than the phone that I have in the 3D world. The phone had all of the date and all the other things in it, the time and all that stuff in the left-hand corner of the phone, and the rest of it was kind of blank. But I could see that, and that's nothing like the phone that I have now. The phone that I have now, the one that I possess now, has colors and all these other things in it, and this did not have that. So he started playing with the phone, and I was thinking as he was doing this, he was being like a little kid, how kids are. I mean, they grab something, maybe they'll grab a phone, and he starts playing with the phone. He's like, "Oh, this is your phone," kind of thing. And at first I wasn't too annoyed, although I did feel some annoyance. I'm not sure why. I felt some annoyance with this kid for taking the phone out, maybe because I didn't give him the phone. And then he reached into my pocket and took my wallet out of my pocket. And I'm like, what is he doing? He takes out, I believe he took out my driver's license, and he was looking at my driver's license. And now I was really starting to get annoyed. Again, I didn't get a chance to see, because I know there's some of you sitting here listening to this thinking, did you see the driver's license? Did you see your picture? I know there's some of you thinking that. No, I did not. I just know he took it out. And I remember thinking he took my driver's license out of my wallet. And he was looking at it and playing around. And I was thinking, this kid is distracting me from helping this other kid on the bed. And so I'm getting upset. I'm like, give me all these things so that I can focus on, talking to this kid or helping this kid or assisting this kid in the hospital bed in some way. The other thing was, I was talking about the fact that I was kind of moving up and down on the bed. I could feel that it was springy. I could feel that everything was solid. Guys, I was taking a moment to feel around, right? To just see how solid everything was. I want to emphasize to you, it was so 3D and so much like this world. It really felt almost like, to me, as if there was really almost no difference. I mean, it was different in the sense that I was I guess I may have been in a different reality, but the 3D-ness of it, I guess, I'm just coming up with words here. It was so clear. And I think my clarity has somehow improved. It really has. I've felt as if I've evolved over time. This was crystal clear. Everything was crystal clear to me. So I kept kind of saying to this kid, hey, give me my driver's license back. Give me my phone back. We were kind of going back and forth. And before I knew it, I was back. I opened my eyes back here in the 3D world. I sat up in my bed and I thought, did that just happen? Yes, it did. It happened. Wow, guys. Well, thank you so much for going on another journey with me. And until the next time, take care.